This is me, and this is my opponent's true king of all calamities, also known as VFD. But you're asking yourself, wait, Galzo, isn't this card like mega banned?
And there it is, ladies and gentlemen, true king of all calamities.
Well, yes, it is, but this is not Yu-Gi-Oh! TCG. This is Yu-Gi-Oh! Genesys. This is the new alternative format that is officially supported by Konami. No links, no pendulums, and no ban list. And yeah, my opponent has invested his entire 100 points into this specific card. This is Local Chronicles Genesys Edition, where we are going to be dueling the best decks of this format, and those are not the decks you are used to seeing. So if you ever thought of joining Genesys, this is the video for you. Let's dive in to round 1 of Genesys. We start off round 1, and we don't really know what we're playing against, but we did lose the die roll. And this is Zoodiac Ram. Well, okay, I guess Fualos is the best play in this scenario, even though, again, I've never played against this deck. And it kind of makes my opponent set and pass, which is, you always love to see that. Start off with Fusion Deployment, which can now actually access my Medias the Pure. And we can start off our Artmage combo. This is usually a 1-card combo with a spell or 2 in hand. You just need 1 spell to get your engine going, because now the Power Patron can actually search for an Artmage spell or trap. I always go for Varnish here, because it makes sure that I have another spell engrave, and also it negates attacks, so that's always good. Go ahead and special summon the Litera here, grab back my Patron just to make the Omni negate live, and my opponent activates Needle Stealing. I chain the Arcturus to negate, and he chains Breakthrough Skill, which is basically an old school Imper. Now, my Arcturus can actually float into another Medius from deck, and from here we are kind of playing uninterrupted. We got the field spell, we summon another Medius from the graveyard. Thankfully, we kind of hard opened some names, so it's not going to be that hard to continue. Go ahead with Finmel. Finmel can now summon and draw a card, which I draw into a Grappler, which was actually huge, and now I can get the extra normal for another Medius, and we got 3 Medius on field, and it's game from there. So we take on game number 1 against Zoodiac, and I'm sorry to say, but it happened the same way again. This time my opponent does want to play. I do want to see the Trident in play, so that's a little bit better than last time. Set 3, this looks like a Zoodiac board to me, but I got the Gamma Seal to take care of the one interruption that I can see. Normal summon Medius, try to get some sort of interruption here, and I do get meant with a Breakthrough Skill. Now I can go into Fusion Deployment, go for the one of Cartesia that, shout out to Distant Coder, this is just an amazing tech in this deck. Now I can go ahead into Granganule, send Garura, and, play a little bit from there. On summon, I get hit with Dogmatica Punishment. You always gotta love to see the lore aspect of this duel. And we draw a card. Now, we are able to DD Crow the Titanic Lad, and basically, we have the Trap Awakening set, so we know we can play next turn, and we just don't want to deal with the Dogmatica Engine, so we DD Crow the Titanic Lad. We pass on an empty board, take the Gamma Seal, he sets 2 in attacks and passes back. Now, I do save the Awakening here just to make sure that I draw another card, see what I'm playing with, and now I can go ahead and summon Medius by shuffling a monster from my hand or field and basically start off my combo once again. I can go ahead and make my Omni negate live, at least with Finmel, just to make sure I can reduce the attack. I Fusion Summon from the hand just to get more damage on board. Get Varnish and Field Spell from my Power Patron, and then my gas is pretty much done here, so I just have the attack of Gamma Seal. Go ahead and start punching for damage, and then in main phase 2, I actually realized that I can normal summon Cartesia, make a Digusto Emerald because I'm not locked into Fusion, draw another card, try to resolve another field spell, get hit with a Cosmic. This was basically just a bait here, and no play on the next turn. Round 2 begins. I thankfully win the die roll, guys, and I start off with the Academy. I go uninterrupted. We go ahead and Varnish for Grappler. Grappler gets us access to Medius with Assault. Normal summon, special summon the Patron, go into the Arcturus, go for a Finmel, draw a card. I do want to make sure that my trap is in the graveyard because it is much more valuable in the grave. I actually am considering of playing 2 of these, and we basically have the full setup, I believe, with the DD Crow in hand as well. Magical Meltdown. I know he's playing Generators, so I know Grappler isn't going to be too much value later, so I just cut off access from Alistair at least so I don't have to deal with the Omni Negate. Lopter summons Mardell that can now search for a Generator card. He go ahead and activates World Legacy Monstrosity, which summons 2 additional level 9s from the deck, which I say no to. Yeah. We also got Kaiju on the Arcturus, by the way, before. And this little trap in the graveyard, this pop on Mardell, basically prevented him from extending altogether. And here, this is a hand where I really needed to draw some hand traps. And unfortunately, we are playing old school Yu-Gi-Oh here. I just sit and watch as my opponent summons one of the strongest cards ever in the history of Yu-Gi-Oh! And you'll see in a second why. Because this true king of all calamities is just a nightmare to deal with. I do try to keep some of my respect, but look at this board. He got an Omni Negate and a VFD and a set card. So, you know, thankfully he calls Dark with True King of All Calamities, not knowing that all of my monsters in the hand are actually light, all the Artmage monsters. So, basically what I have to do now is try to make some sort of board. We bait the Grappler, actually the Heart, to get the Omni Negate, and we do want to draw a card with Finmel just to get access possibly to Super Poly, just so we can keep playing. I summon in defense, I draw a card, and it's like another Assault, which is definitely not what you want to see under this scenario. If I could out the VFD here, maybe I could continue playing. But here, I do what I can, tributing 3 defense position monsters with different types to summon Nerva, the Power Patron of Creation, and pass because I cannot attack or activate any effects. But it is 3,300 attack. But I see the Leviathan, and this is going to suck up my Nerva, and it's basically game from there. So, this is a weird line that I chose, because I wanted to make sure, since I have Grisai Prison in hand, which we'll talk about in a second, I wanted to make sure I can 100% fusion summon, so I did want to get hit with like a Veiler on my Medius, so I can at least have some sort of board presence. So I start off with normal Lidra because I already opened 2 monsters in hand, 2 Artmage monsters. So now I can go ahead and do my full combo, but in addition to that, I do have the Trap Engrave, which is great, and I do activate the Grisai Prison. If you control a Ritual, Tribute Summoned, or Fusion Summoned monster, neither player can Xyz or Synchro Summon until the end of your opponent's next turn. So at least, I know, even with the Dark Ruler and 3 Upstart Goblins, that my opponent cannot Xyz Summon. No VFD, no Generator Xyz monsters, which are also very strong. You go ahead and go for Lopter, Mardell, and then spell card Soul Exchange to tribute my monsters. But thankfully, I have a Grappler that I can now tribute summon my own, because this is the effect of spell card Soul Exchange. He go ahead and attacks. I negate the attack with Varnish, and then on the crackback, we pretty much have everything, and we take this game 2-0. Not a ton to see in this game, unfortunately. You see the paper playmat. My guy is just trying to have fun here, but we go Artmage full combo on his head just to make sure that we are clear. Because, you know, even though he's young, he's a young duelist, I've encountered players who ran this deck at a young age, and since this is so linear, just remember the combo. But at the end, there are pretty formidable boss monsters for this deck. Yeah, Dark Hole before he draws for turn, but we negated with the Arcturus. And here, instead of just interrupting the plays, we just go for Nerva, Power Patron of Creation, because we have 2 monsters here. We know 1 of 2 cards in hand, and he set 2 cards in addition to his field, so Nerva can just wipe out the entire board, and basically he can't really play from there with the monster in hand that needs a Fiend on the field to summon. So we just swing, and we get a Game 1 handshake, which we always love to see. Game 2, he combos, go for the Red Rising Dragon here, Scarlet, we nib, yeah, unfortunate, but now on the crackback, we can just go ahead and we have our own Kaiju to summon, attributed the token, and then this is enough damage exactly to finish it. So yeah, this was round number 3. Now this is not going to be easy. This is one of the strongest decks in Genesys. This is basically K9 Vanquish Soul guys with, you know, a little bit of limitations, but some more cards that don't actually exist in the TCG. I actually managed to droll here. He goes for a Caesar lineup. He has Holisu in hand, but theoretically we could have been in a good scenario, but we opened really, really bad. So we summon the Cartesia. We don't activate anything yet. Then on resolution, we get to Fusion Summon with the Cartesia in chain to the Caesar. And then before he gets to pop, I think this was a little bit preemptive maybe, the Super Poly. Looking back, I didn't really like it, but at the end of the day, we were just able to get Secretarion on the field, get rid of the Caesar, but I mean, this is a Holisu. This is a whole other power level from anything that we know. We have Fusion Deployment, but in this scenario, when you don't have an additional spell or trap in your hand, this is really, really problematic here. I might have saved a DD Crow in hand, which, looking back now, might have been a mistake. I managed to get the Ectorus on the field, but the Ectorus on its own really doesn't do anything. I try to summon another Medius, gets hit with a DD Crow, and you still shuffle back, by the way, just remember. And a case for K9, guys, this is way, way too much. We kind of want to let it play out, so we go ahead, tag out for a Lulu, because he did summon a monster from an activated monster effect. And now we go ahead, after Holisu activates the effect to take, we just turn the Ectorus here into a Magnum the Reliever. It's just never enough. I do have Super Poly and Fusion Deployment in the graveyard, which is at least something the Magnum can use, but I think from here, with a rank 5, we've seen enough. We lose game 1, and we go on to game 2, which thankfully goes relatively uninterrupted here. So we go ahead and start off with the Varnish. Varnish places us the field spell. We do have a Droll in hand additionally. We have Dragon's Mind, which is a great cost for the field spell because it can reset itself by paying 2,500 life points, which is, you know, free in Modern Yu-Gi-Oh! Go ahead, get Littera. Littera brings back Varnish. Now Grappler can get us access to our boy Medius with Assault. Normal summon the Medius. Go ahead and summon the Power Patron. Fuse away to the Ectorus, which is now live as an Omni-Negate on the field. Search for Awakening, the trap card, which is just a bonkers card. We don't want to discard any additional cards. We want this just in order to play through Dark Ruler. We get hit with the Dogoran on our Omni-Negate, which is definitely fine because we have Littera. He goes ahead and summons, activates Take Your Soul by revealing a DD Crow. Now he knows that we can actually reborn here. We try to activate the Littera to bring back our Ectorus. We get hit with the DD Crow on the Ectorus. And then we chain the trap on our field to summon Finmel directly from the deck, because you can do that. You can summon any Artmage monster, which is really good. We droll here. We have still Spell and Trap Pop. He has a field spell in hand, which doesn't work under droll. And yeah, we just pack it up at this point. Full board plus droll and a trap card activation on the field. It's a little bit too much. We have a Fua here, but unfortunately, we don't see enough. At least we managed to draw from this Fua, which is good, but he's going to make a little bit of a minimal board here. He is, I believe, going to make at least one rank 5 because, you know, at least a Ripper can check the Artmage monsters. And now, because I activated a monster effect in hand, guys, yeah, he sets the Forced Release and the trap card. Yeah, this is very, very rough, but we're going to try. I believe we drew droll for turn, which was really bad. We go for the Assault. He pops it with the Forced Release. And now this card is so strong against Artmage because every time you activate one of their effects in hand, they can just look at the hand and banish that monster. So now this is exactly what's going to happen, but we start baiting it with Medius. He banishes our Varnish just to cut us off from the field spell. It doesn't really do that, but still, our deck is just so much slower and not as reactive as his deck. A lot of effects are like Ignition stuff, but we do want to make sure that we at least have the Dark Ruler with Finmel on the board, which is now currently live. We got the field spell. I think this was the biggest misplay for me. Going, you know, you have the trap, so you can't really fusion because then your whole board is just gone. So at least in order to keep a monster, I do chain here the Power Patron. But my decision was not to go for the Ectorus, but actually to go for Nerva, because Nerva here can, A, possibly blow up his entire field, But in addition to that, he is not destroyed by card effects because he has we have the field spell. And this is the condition. While there's a card in the field zone, there are actually two. This card cannot be destroyed by card effects. It is 3,300. It's kind of big. We get another Medius from Grave, but we are really out of gas. Really, really out of gas. And here with the Izuna and the Lupus, it is definitely game over. And we lose our last round to Vanquish Soul, ending us at a 3-1 record. And a second place, which was really nice. And this has been Local Chronicles Genesis Edition. Hope you guys enjoyed that. Leave it down in the comments below if you want to see more Genesis gameplay out of me in this channel. I really enjoy playing this format, honestly, and I would really love to make more videos for you. And I'll see you in the next one. Peace.